Hello, we are Sine Özbilge and Imge Özbilge, an animation film directors duo and the makers of #21Xoxo. Firstly, thanks to Ars Electronica for the special mention. We are really proud and happy to be part of this year's festival. In this artist talk, we will talk a little bit about what animation means to us and how we specifically animate the work. Firstly, maybe it's important to say that animation can take many forms and techniques, and in its essence, it is the art of bringing things to life, and each artist finds their own way of manipulating matter, or footage, or drawing. And this leads to the shaping of an illusion of movement, life, meaning, whatever you want to call it. I think it is very important that we talk a little bit about how animation actually brings to reality and why surrealism is so important in our work.
To many artists, working with the medium of animation has been very intriguing due to surrealism. The possibilities in surreal expression has attracted many artists into experimenting with this medium. For example, Salvador Dali's failed collaboration with Walt Disney on their movie Destino is a very interesting example. Or the exhibition in 1936 at the Museum of Modern Art in New York called Fantastic Art, Dada and Surrealism included also 4 works from the Disney studios. Jan Zwangmeier and the Quay brothers are also very inspirational artists whose films work heavily around surrealism. To us as a directors duo, surrealism is certainly a very dominant point of interest. It is not only exciting to be able to mirror how the creative mind can work through surrealism, but it also opens up the possibilities in going into the subconscious mind and therefore enabling the approach to reach the audience's psychology, actually. One can create emotional confrontational moments with animation by reaching out to the psychology of the human mind. And example for this that I always like to bring back is, for instance, Aphex Twin's very powerful music video, The Window Licker. The uncanny valley character created by attaching Aphex Twins' head on a sexy woman's body is so confusing and yet intriguing at the same time that it's quite difficult to erase from your mind. And we will never exactly really know why it is so disturbing and at the same time appealing to us. So I believe surrealism will continue to play a dominant role in animation.
We have also been inspired by, for instance, Alice in Wonderland, which was also back in the days a huge source of creativity for almost all of the famous surrealists. They included the book in their library of must-reads, and I think even though this is such a old Victorian book, it's still very relevant in the sense of that it sparks so much fantasy and gives this nice path to exploration, especially for a female figure. So for #21Xoxo, as well as for some of our previous work, we can say that many surrealistic content was some of the bricks to develop this project. Apart from surrealism and the relationship to animation, It is also important that we talk about the medium that we use and how, as in every art form, the medium that an artist uses has an unquestionable effect on the artistic formation of a work. This was obviously the case for hashtag 21XOXO. We tried to make it more contemporary and to really have the right feeling of the zeitgeist of now. We wanted to use our society's current digital devices in the making of the film itself, and with current digital tools we intend devices which have like infiltrated our everyday lives and which are changing our perception of cinematography itself even. Some examples include the smartphone cadrages, for instance, fisheye lenses, Skype angles. Take this video, I mean, these are all very specific angles that we are very used to. Surveillance cameras and even GoPro footage. In one scene in the dates, we have used GoPros that were circulating the actors to be able to achieve the kind of imagery we were looking for. We used these devices to shoot our film, and furthermore, we filtered the footage through the transformative filter of animation in order to create a second layer of reality. Therefore, animation for us was a conceptual choice also to strengthen the artwork and to create a game of realities. And the reality game was created by using the clash of live action and animation. So the animated world became a sort of representation of social media and cyberspace.
Another aspect that we find intriguing in working with animation film is that by the recreation of figures and characters, you have the possibility of changing perception about certain archetypes. For instance, once we see a character in live action, we are conditioned to immediately look at its persona attached to certain personal prejudgments. Let's say it's a businessman in a suit, and then we're immediately linking him to success and hard work, for example. But to take the audience out of this judgment, you would need to lay out a certain story and explain how you want to portray this character in your film, which requires storytelling. Whilst in animation, by recreating a character through drawing or CGI, the director has the reach to a different approach in introducing its audience to this character. For example, by caricaturizing it, by exaggerating certain elements, and also by having the possibility in disconnecting your audience from reality. These are the benefits that the recreation of images bring with it. However, it can also work as a disadvantage. Creating an emotional connection with the audience is much easier when working with actors, whilst the superficial feeling an animated character can bring turns into a challenge in creating this emotional connection. This also, of course, depends on how you would like your audience to pursue your characters. But it is an important point to keep in mind whilst working with animation.
So what Imge is explaining about character creation between animation and live action was also very relevant in the creation of the characters of hashtag 21XOXO. Let me briefly explain. We tried to keep the characters still very human, but we also made them very digital and emotionless. For instance, they don't have pupils. And in animation, the eye is the fundamental element that gives the drawn character life. In hashtag 21XOXO, because they are real people and because they are alive, you still have this feeling of human, but because of the stylistic form and, for instance, the digital voices that we are using, these characters seem to lack some sort of soul. This was all intentional. We also used, for instance, the backgrounds of Photoshop or other digital remarks to strengthen this feeling, and we hope that we created an eerie, uncomfortable yet intriguing feeling in the audience.
Animation comes from a very analog background, from an era which everything has been made through manual labor. We have now found ourselves today in times which I would personally call maybe even the digital renaissance. Whilst the process of digitalization is a more contemporary approach in some other fields within the arts, in animation it has played a leading role throughout many years. In fact, I think it wouldn't be wrong to state that the digitalization process of animation has started with the invention of computers. For us as a directors duo coming from an école of casque founded by Raoul Servet, Sine and I believe that the strength of an artist comes from the personal voice. Therefore, we find it interesting to combine the digital possibilities with traditional techniques, because the hybrid of both worlds allow us to experiment between mediums, which can result in very interesting, surprising and unexpected outcomes that can lead to more unique approaches rather than following the mainstream.
For Xoxo, we tried to create a fragmented editing process, which mimicked specifically the scattered and fragmented experience of social media. The feeling you get from like scrolling down your Instagram feed or by endlessly browsing through your Facebook, the feeling, the anxiety that these digital devices create in us were very important for us and served as some sort of anchors in our montage, this feeling, this inspiration. The film has also a strange disconnection. The audience has a disconnection, while somehow everything still fits together, still flows, it's still in a continuous flux. This was also based on the online experiences that we have in cyberspace. And we hope that we could create this eerie, anxious feeling in our audience while still having them enjoy the film and its content. So that is all we have to share for this part. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that we could give you some insights on the making of our movie, #21XOXO. We would also like to thank the Ars Electronica team really from the heart, because it is really wonderful that they are still making this festival, even though we are globally in a very difficult situation, especially for artists, festivals, directors. So it is nice that we have the opportunity to share our artwork, and we hope that everyone enjoys it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.